Have you ever felt so overwhelmed, so lost, that it feels like you're in the belly of a giant beast, trapped in darkness? It's a powerful image, isn't it? Well, today we're diving deep into an incredible story from the Quran that brings this very image to life. It's the story of Prophet Yunus, also known as Jonah, a tale of patience, repentance, and the boundless mercy of God. This isn't just an ancient story. It's a profound lesson that speaks to us even today, especially when we feel like we've made a huge mistake and there's no way back. So, get comfortable and let's explore this amazing journey of a prophet, a rebellious city, a giant fish, and a second chance that changed everything. Prophet Yunus was sent by God to the city of Nineveh, a sprawling metropolis near modern-day Mosul in Iraq. The people of Nineveh were steeped in idol worship and had strayed far from the path of righteousness. Yunus' mission was clear: to call them back to the worship of the one true God, to warn them of the consequences of their actions, and to guide them towards a better way of life. For years, Yunus walked among them, preaching with passion and sincerity. He spoke of God's power, His mercy, and the day of judgment. But the people of Nineveh were stubborn. They mocked him, dismissed his warnings, and clung to their traditions and their idols. Imagine the frustration, the heavy heart of a prophet whose people refused to listen. Day after day, he faced ridicule and rejection. Feeling utterly disheartened and exhausted, Yunus reached his breaking point. He had given them his all, but they wouldn't budge. In a moment of human frustration and anger, he made a critical decision. He decided he had done enough. Convinced that God's punishment was now inevitable for the people of Nineveh, he left the city, abandoning his mission without God's explicit permission. He walked away, feeling that his duty was done and that the people were beyond hope. This is a very human moment in the story. It shows that even prophets can experience overwhelming emotions like frustration and impatience. But it also sets the stage for a powerful lesson about divine will and the importance of perseverance. Yunus made his way to the coast and found a ship ready to set sail. He boarded it, hoping to put the city of Nineveh and his painful experience behind him. As the ship sailed out into the open sea, the sky darkened, the wind howled, and a ferocious storm erupted. The waves crashed against the vessel, threatening to tear it apart. The sailors, terrified for their lives, began throwing cargo overboard to lighten the load, but the storm only grew worse. They believed that someone on the ship must be the cause of this divine wrath, a fugitive running from their master. To find the culprit, they decided to draw lots, a common practice at the time. They drew lots once, and the name that came up was Yunus. They were hesitant. He seemed like a righteous man. So they drew lots a second time, and again, it was Yunus. A third time they tried, and for the third time, his name was chosen. At this point, Yunus knew. He confessed to the sailors that he was indeed the one fleeing from his Lord. He realized his mistake in leaving his post without God's command. To save the ship and everyone on it, he told them that they had to throw him into the raging sea. The sailors were reluctant to do such a thing, but with the ship on the verge of sinking, they had no other choice. They cast Prophet Yunus into the violent, churning waters, and as soon as his body hit the waves, the storm miraculously ceased. The sea became calm, and the sky cleared. But for Yunus, a new, even more terrifying ordeal was just beginning. As Yunus plunged into the depths of the ocean, something incredible happened. God commanded a giant fish, often described as a whale, not to harm him, but to swallow him whole. Imagine the absolute terror and darkness. He was alive, but trapped inside the belly of this colossal creature, in the triple darkness of the fish's stomach, the deep sea, and the night. It was the ultimate rock bottom. He had no control, no light, no hope, or so it seemed. In that profound isolation and despair, Prophet Yunus did the only thing he could. He turned back to God with his entire being. He didn't make excuses or blame others. He took full responsibility for his actions. It was in this darkness that he uttered one of the most powerful prayers in the Quran, a cry of pure repentance from the depths of his soul. He prayed, La ilaha illa anta, subhanaka, inni kuntu minaz zalimin. This translates to, there is no deity except you, exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers. This short, simple prayer is incredibly profound. It's a complete acknowledgement of God's absolute power and perfection, and a humble admission of his own fault and imperfection. He wasn't asking to be saved. He was simply admitting his mistake and glorifying God. This act of sincere repentance, this tasbih, echoed from the belly of the fish through the depths of the ocean and reached the heavens. And God, the most merciful, heard his call. The Quran tells us that had he not been one of those who glorified God, he would have remained in the fish's belly until the day of resurrection. His sincere repentance was his key to salvation. Meanwhile, back in Nineveh, something astonishing had happened after Yunus left. When the people saw the signs of the impending punishment that Yunus had warned them about, dark clouds gathering, a change in the air, they were suddenly struck with fear. They realized that Yunus had been telling the truth all along. A wave of collective regret washed over the entire city. Unlike other civilizations that were destroyed for their disbelief, the people of Nineveh did something unique. From the king to the commoner, they all came out, covered themselves in simple clothes, separated mothers from their young, and cried out to God in sincere repentance. They begged for forgiveness and promised to change their ways. Seeing their genuine remorse, God lifted the punishment and showered his mercy upon them. They became the only nation in history to have believed in its entirety after punishment had become imminent. Because of Yunus's prayer and God's infinite mercy, the giant fish was commanded to swim to the shore and gently eject Yunus onto the land. He was weak, ill, and exposed from his time in the fish's belly. But God's care didn't stop there. He caused a plant, a type of gourd, to grow over Yunus, providing him with food and shade, nursing him back to health. Once he had regained his strength, God commanded him to return to Nineveh. Imagine his surprise when he returned to the city he had fled in frustration. Instead of a city of idolaters, he found a community of over 100,000 believers, all worshiping the one true God. The mission he thought was a failure had become a resounding success, but only after he had learned his own profound lesson. So, what can we take away from this incredible story? First, the power of sincere repentance. No matter how deep in darkness we find ourselves, no matter how big our mistakes feel, a sincere call to God, like the prayer of Yunus, can bring light and a way out. It teaches us to take responsibility for our actions and turn to God with humility. Second, it's a lesson in patience and perseverance. Yunus's initial frustration is relatable, but his story shows us that we should never give up on our mission or on people, and we must trust in God's timing and wisdom. Sometimes, success is just around the corner, right when we feel like quitting. And finally, it's a beautiful reminder of God's boundless mercy. He forgave Yunus for his impatience, and he forgave the entire city of Nineveh for their years of disbelief. It shows that the door to forgiveness is always open for those who seek it sincerely. The story of Yunus is a beacon of hope, reminding us that even from the belly of the whale, from our darkest moments, there is always a way back to the light. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the story of Prophet Yunus. I hope it brought you as much reflection and inspiration as it brings me. If you found this story powerful, please like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear a message of hope and second chances. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the timeless wisdom of the Quran. Until next time, stay reflective and keep faith.